Welcome back to SwitchStars, my name's Luke, and today on the channel we're going to be taking a little look at Trashpunk, a new top-down shooter published by Baltoro Games, who are mainly known for publishing simulator titles, but this time they've gone a bit off-piste with the latest offering, giving us a roguelike experience which on the surface looks to be very similar to one of my favourite roguelikes, that being Nuclear Throne. But does this one live up to expectations, and is it any good? Well, drop a like, subscribe for more Nintendo Switch reviews, and let's find out. So unlike Nuclear Throne, which had an awesome animated cutscene, we get no backstory whatsoever with Trashpunk, and are instead dropped into a rather bland looking main menu. Here we have a few gameplay settings we can fiddle about with, including some audio settings, aim sensitivity and aim assist, as well as left-handed mode, which is a bit of a peculiarity in my opinion, and something I've never really seen in any other top-down shooter. After this though, we can then begin a new run, and we're dropped into an opening tutorial area with markings on the floor which gives a rundown of the controls, but they're pretty straightforward. We move with the left thumbstick, aim with the right, shoot with any of the triggers or shoulder buttons, and can switch between our melee and ranged weapons with a tap of the X button. And this turns out to be very important, as your ranged weapons have an ammo meter seen in orange below your red health bar up in the top left corner, and unlike other similar games, you don't have to reload in this one and there's no ammo to pick up. So in order to replenish your ammo you actually need to kill enemies with your melee weapon, which I have to say I wasn't particularly a fan of. Anyway, getting back into the gameplay, your objective is pretty simple in this one. Each run consists of a series of relatively small areas, all of which are randomly generated, and in each area you'll encounter a bunch of different enemies which you then need to defeat in order to open up the exit door and proceed to the next area. The number of enemies starts off relatively small but ramps up progressively, introducing new monster types every 5 or so areas, and along the way you'll obtain new weapons and upgrades which provide a bit of a boost to your damage output and increase your survivability. But I have to admit, all of the weapons that I've discovered thus far have felt a little lackluster, bar the shotgun which kills most things in one hit when close up to them. In general though, the combat works fine for the most part, though the trees and trash that are strewn about the place do have an annoying habit of blocking your shots, and destroying them takes multiple hits, but taking down enemies isn't much of a problem even with the melee weapons. When it comes to the variety of runs, again I have to admit things are a little lackluster here. Taking a look at the game's journal, there appears to be 8 enemies in the game, 5 of which I've already encountered after only 5 or 6 runs, and 2 of which appear to be palette swaps of the same enemy. And while the enemies all have unique ways of attacking you, none of them really posed much of a threat, and I haven't encountered any boss fights so far. On the topic of level variety though, while each area is randomly generated, again there's very little variety. There are 2 different visual styles on offer, and while some of the areas contain multiple exits, there doesn't actually appear to be any difference between going through a red door, a yellow door, or a blue door. Now if you're familiar with Nuclear Throne, then you'll know that your objective in the game is very similar. Work your way through several different areas, killing enemies, defeating bosses, and collecting various weapons as you go. But one of the key features which makes that game so much fun is its upgrade system, whereby you earn radiation from killing enemies, which kind of acts like XP and allows you to mutate your character to gain various perks. It's your classic roguelike formula and is an absolute blast to play through alongside a friend in 2-player co-op mode, and the gameplay in it becomes progressively more challenging, especially when you complete it and start looping back through its levels. Unfortunately, Trashpunk is incredibly slim on the roguelike elements, and in my opinion plays more like an arcade game rather than a true roguelike. Yes, it has randomly generated levels and enemy placements, and yes, you can obtain new guns and melee weapons in each run, as well as a couple of upgrade pickups which increase your health or ammo count. But these drops come solely at random from killing enemies rather than in specific areas, and the drop rate is also pretty atrocious, with me not seeing a single one in a run where I managed to work my way through 20 different areas. Now, there's very little else to be said about the game to be honest, other than I was a little disappointed by it to say the least, as I had gone in expecting a similar gameplay experience to Nuclear Throne, but instead was treated to a repetitive arcade style top-down shooter with very little in the way of variety, and while I did enjoy the visuals of the game, the music really started to grate on me after a few runs, as contrary to the game's name, is more of a heavy rock number, which sounds like it repeats itself constantly on a 20-second loop. All in all, Trashpunk is not a terrible game, it's just not got a lot going for it. It had the potential to be a great little roguelike, had there been more roguelike elements to it, but sadly it comes up short and is more worthwhile as a time filler game rather than one that you're going to be playing for hours on end. Not bad for the price though, if you manage to snag it in a sale. That though is just about it for this review of Trashpunk. So what did you think of it? Is it one that you're going to be picking up? Or if you've already bought and played it, how did you find it? Let me know down in the comments section below. For now though, drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more Nintendo Switch content. As always, thanks to the patrons of the channel for their ongoing support and to you the viewers for watching. And until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.